buenas gente, soy Spoiler F1, bienvenido a mi canal. Hoy estamos en un nuevo juego. Hoy estamos en de Stanley Parable. No sé cómo explicaros el juego, de qué trata el juego este, porque ni yo lo sé. Sé que cada decisión que tomes puede cambiar. O sea, no sé si puede cambiar el juego o volver a otra vez al principio. No sé cómo. Vamos a tirar para adelante a ver lo que sale. Y nada, a ver si nos aclaramos y descubrimos de qué trata el juego.
Esta es
la historia de un hombre llamado Stanley.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Vale, pues vaya trabajo,
something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget.
Que nunca podré olvidar.
He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Vale. Vale, en teoría nosotros somos Stanley y esto es nuestro trabajo. Vaya mierda de trabajo también, ¿eh? O sea, nuestro trabajo es pulsar las teclas que nos van saliendo en el monitor. Y como ya ahora se ha quedado un poco en blanco porque no le pone qué, o sea, no le pone qué teclas pulsar. Y está un poco, o sea, que no tiene ninguna instrucción. O sea, que vamos a ver lo que hay por aquí. No sé si puedo hacer algo o... No, en teoría no puedo hacer nada. Vale, pues vamos a ir por la oficina a ver. Vale, puedo... Vale. Espera un poco, espérate que le quite sensibilidad al ratón. Es un poco incómodo.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Se había perdido. ¿Y dónde está la sala de reuniones? A ver. ¿Será esto? No. Madre mía, cada número de esto es de un trabajador.
Stanley came to a set of two open doors. He entered the door on his left.
A su izquierda. ¿Y si entro la de la derecha, qué? Es que no. No entiendo, a ver.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Vamos a la oficina del jefe, a ver. ¿Qué ves? Me están rayando. ¿Esto qué es?
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Vale, este está hablando según lo que vaya yo haciendo, es lo que va contando. Por ejemplo, yo he entrado al armario y es lo que ha hecho. No he encontrado nada. Por ejemplo, y si cogemos de abajo, ¿cambia la historia? No cambia, ¿no? ¿O sí?
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had managed. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream.
Estoy llegando al mismo sitio.
What a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magic?
Estoy dando vueltas aquí, no está haciendo nada.
Would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of
Me está rayando este tío también, ¿eh?
Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the...
Y ahora empezamos, seguramente que empezamos desde la oficina otra vez. Ya verás tú.
Fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job.
Déjame continuar presionar botones, por favor. Es todo lo que quiero.
It's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Vale, pues seguramente ahora empezamos desde... Ah, desde el garaje otra vez. Ay.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss, I have an office, I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real, I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I?
Ahora.
And everything went black.
Es un poco paranoia era el juego,
of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Madre mía, vaya historia, tío. Ah, que volvemos al principio. ¿Ves? Volvemos al mismo sitio de antes. Vale, vamos a hacer ahora otra vez lo de... no sé lo que hacer.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Quizás simplemente se había perdido una memo. Es que... estas puertas no me deja abrirlas. A ver. Vamos a... si cogemos el camino a la derecha... bueno, vamos a ir por la izquierda. Vamos a llegar a la sala del jefe. A ver si hay algo diferente ahí. O sea, si pasa algo. No hay una persona tampoco.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office.
Esto todo lo mismo. No voy a abrirla.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Vale. Joder. Esto parece la casa de...
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
2845. Y yo no sé si estamos si deberíamos... no sé si deberíamos seguir la voz de esta, Un poco raro esto, pero bueno. A ver dónde nos lleva el ascensor este, porque vamos. Si hemos subido... descendiendo más profundo del edificio, Stanley se dio cuenta de que algo peculiar.
As though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Por mucho tiempo. Vale, estamos... madre mía, ¿dónde estamos, tío?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read
Stanley caminó directo hacia adelante a través de la enorme puerta que... hostia, ¿podemos salir o entrar? ¿Qué hacemos? Main control fatality. Facility. Es que si entramos se cierra la puerta. ¿Entramos? A ver, vamos a entrar, va. Se ha cerrado la puerta. ¿Esto qué es? Para la luz, ¿no?
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself.
Joder.
Did he have the strength to find out?
Vale, vamos a la sala esta vez. Joder, estoy lleno de pantalla de televisión, macho. Aquí están las cámaras. Aquí no hay nada.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers, the lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
No entiendo, tío.
This mind
O sea, una cada cámara esta de su habitación.
Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time?
La 247, ¿cuál era la nuestra? No me acuerdo de ahora. 257, 247, no me acuerdo.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Es que vaya trabajo. No entiendo la clase de trabajo que tenía este hombre, porque macho, pulsar teclas ahí.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation.
Controls
labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Vale, tengo que desactivarla, ¿no? En teoría. Facility Power. In Control. Entonces, ¿qué tengo que desactivarla? A ver, sí o no, on y off. Ayudó en frente de energía de la habitación, supo que
his obligation to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Apagamos las cámaras, ¿no? ¿O qué? Sí, en teoría es para eso. Vamos a... ¿Qué hago? ¿Qué hago? En teoría sí, pero... Bueno, claro, si es lo que quiere... Vamos a hacer... Es que... Como es lo que quiere el tío, ya no sé si... Bueno, vamos a pulsar, si no después lo cambiamos. Bueno, pues creo que ha acabado. No creo que haya acabado el juego. No me jodas. No creo, ¿no? A ver.
Blackness.
Oscuridad y un intenso temor. Incertidumbre.
Was it over?
¿Había acabado?
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine. Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
A ver. No creo, ¿no?
Stanley felt the cold breeze upon his skin. The feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path.
Vaya paranoia.
This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
¿Ya está? ¿En serio? ¿Ya ha terminado el juego? ¿En serio? No me lo puedo creer. Vale, en teoría, a ver. Si no lo he entendido mal. Mira, este es el valle que está más o menos. A ver, en teoría, creo que hemos descubierto el porqué. O sea, por qué. No sé, por qué hay tantas cámaras y todo eso. Pero tenemos que descubrir dónde están nuestros compañeros y todo eso. En teoría. O sea, vamos a dejarlo aquí. Y en el próximo capítulo pegaré un vistazo. Cambiaré la puerta por donde irme. No le haré mucho caso al tío. Y me iré por diferentes puertas y todo esto. A ver si cambiamos un poco la... A ver si descubrimos algo más del juego. Me parece un poco corto, pero bueno. No pasa nada. Porque tiene que haber algo más, en teoría. Yo no sé lo que ha pasado con mis compañeros ni nada. Así que vamos a hacer eso. En el segundo capítulo haremos eso. Cambiaremos la temática que nos está... O sea, lo que nos está... Las direcciones que nos está diciendo el tío y todo. A ver si podemos cambiar un poco el juego y descubrir dónde están nuestros compañeros y muchas más cosas que habrá que descubrir, digo yo. Y nada, espero que os haya gustado. Dadle un buen like si es así. Suscribiros si no estáis y nos vemos en el próximo capítulo. Adiós.